If you like crime dramas, you've likely heard of The Blacklist. Created in 2013, this show follows a character played by the iconic James Spader Red. However, if you're like me, you probably look at Spader and only see Robert California from The Office. No? Just me? Okay. Red was once a naval officer now turned criminal. He had spent his time fraternizing with other criminals by creating a massive list of the most dangerous people in the world in exchange for immunity.
Like it or not, I believe we're all pulling on the same oar. What do you imagine she's doing, Donald?
Red tells the FBI that he will assist in taking down all of the criminals on his blacklist.
In the old days, drug cocktails were decidedly more appealing. Worse than Moscow at this time of year?
Sounds interesting, right? The show has been incredibly successful. Rotten Tomatoes reviews for each season range from 82% to 100%. Now, after 10 years and 10 seasons, the show is planned to come to an end. If you want to hear more about why the showrunners made the call to end the show, keep watching.
And does Huey Lewis even have a muse? Tell me, when you go on a business trip, do you charge by the hour while you're on the plane?
Spader, the actor who plays the main character, spoke on why now is the right time to end the show. I think if the show went beyond this year, it would turn into a very different show. And I think that the thing that has been nice about this show was that we've never really had a clear paradigm for the show. Tonally, the show shifts a lot from episode to episode, and I think that even though the show has taken strange turns, and I suspect that the show, if it went much farther, would just become something that would be less recognizable to me. There is a lot to say about the decision to end a show. We've seen time and time again shows, especially on network cable, overstaying their welcome. Supernatural. You may be wondering why the actor from the show was the one to speak on this. Well, it turns out he's also an executive producer. That explains a lot.
I will do just that. What you need to do is keep your mouth shut, your head down, and assure Moscow that the situation is under control.
Apart from Spader feeling as though the show has reached its natural conclusion, there are more reasons why the show must end now. The original creator of the show, John Bokenkamp, left the show after season 8. He said, "I love this show with all of my heart, and it's been an incredible journey, but after 8 years, I feel it's time for me to step out of my comfort zone, try something new, and explore a few of the other characters and stories that have been crawling around in my head. Honestly, this show seems to have a lot of very passionate people behind it. No wonder it's been so beloved and successful, and that also stands as a reason why the show will not just continue on aimlessly." The lead female actress, Megan Boone, also decided to leave after season 8. It definitely seems as though the show's team took a big hit after losing both of these very important members.
Ever met? Just once. Don't feel badly. It was years ago, but it's why I know your name is Felix Club. This might help.
Bokenkamp has also clarified that he did not leave the show because he no longer enjoyed working on it or because the story wasn't working anymore. He also talked at length about how dedicated the fans are to the show. He said, "The Blacklist is a family, and saying goodbye is difficult. I'm likely biased, but the Blacklist fan base is not only the most dedicated and ravenous in television, but whip-smart and hard as hell to fool. You are the lifeblood of our show, and it's your enthusiasm that leaves me feeling, more than anything, grateful." So the general consensus seems to be that the show has reached its end because the story has reached its end.
Off you go. Dembe'll drop you wherever you like. If I were you, I'd like the finish line.
Honestly, no one likes a story that meanders meaninglessly with no end in sight. It feels like a slap in the face to the audience. If you've seen any of Pretty Little Liars, Riverdale, or Supernatural, you'll be familiar with this frustration. So, while we anxiously await Season 10, let's give a brief recap of Seasons 8 and 9. Season 8 follows Elizabeth Keene and her attempt to take down Red. She and her mother, Katerina Rostova, are working together, along with Dom, Elizabeth's grandfather. Red actually ends up killing Katerina, which sends Liz into a vengeful spiral. She leaves the FBI and decides that the best way to take down Red is outside of the constraints of the government agency. The FBI finds out what she's up to and attempts to intervene. Meanwhile, Red is planning to add Liz to the blacklist. Oh, that's the name of the show. Elizabeth, with the assistance of some hired help, manages to uncover an encrypted USB drive in Red's bank vault. She has the drive planted in one of the FBI agent's cars. Meanwhile, the agent is able to lift a fingerprint fingerprint from Red and uses it to break into the USB drive. Liz ends up turning herself in as the FBI is closing in on her. However, Liz isn't the real Liz. Red, meanwhile, has been busy. He's gotten himself a girlfriend, Anne. He also is still actively helping the FBI take down other criminals on the blacklist. He then hires a criminal to track down Elizabeth. The killer goes off and systematically picks off all of Elizabeth's partners. He also inadvertently kills Liz's sister while the two women were escaping. Geez, this show is certainly full of a lot of action, huh? Elizabeth is finally caught when she tracks down the killer who had taken out her team and her sister. Red ends up taking her with him to the center of his operation, where he's finally willing to reveal his secrets to her. Turns out, Liz's mother led a double life and was one of Red's original adversaries. Dun dun dun! She was a Russian spy in her younger years and accidentally burned down her house, which resulted in lasting injuries for herself and Liz. And we have another case of someone pretending to be someone else. The person that Red killed, who we thought was Katerina, was actually a doppelganger. Just as Liz is about to learn the real identity of Red and the whereabouts of her mother in hiding, the bunker is attacked and Liz is wounded. Red saves Liz and then proposes that she kill him. He is terminally ill, and by allowing her to kill him for her future security and safety, she hesitates and ends up being killed by one of Red's enemies. This marks the last episode that she appears in. The 9th season opens up 2 years after these events. The task force has been disbanded after several members have left, and Red is in the wind. Cooper, meanwhile, scrapes together a new task force and tracks Red down after his partner is killed. Red is then recruited for a new team to take down the Avenging Angel, a vigilante. He ends up successfully finding her and kills her. Mid-season, we have a memorial episode for the fallen Elizabeth on the 2nd anniversary of her death. Red, meanwhile, is remembering her in a different way. He is obsessed with figuring out whether or not Liz knew of his actual identity before she died. He also finds out that she had a tracking device implanted in her body, which leads to Red having to exhume her grave. Jeez, I never thought this show would have a grave robbing scene, but here we are. Red eventually brings the tracking device to a friend and healer, Herbie, who reveals that the device was a medical device used to track how much medication someone has taken. Meanwhile, Red has been tracking down lots of criminals, including an escort service that is behind a series of murders and a mystery involving a half-dead woman found in the woods. In the season finale, Red's team is disbanded again when a rival of his goes to the FBI with more exclusive information than Red has access to. Red manages to evade capture, and the characters all visit Elizabeth's grave to mark the 3rd anniversary of her passing. Well, that was a very brief recap. Don't forget to catch up on these last few seasons before season 10 premieres. The Blacklist can be streamed on Hulu.
Never worry about betraying your workplace, because given the chance, your workplace will definitely betray you.
What do you guys think? Is ending the series now the right call? We would love to hear your thoughts down below. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and we will see you all next time.